Question number 8 from Standard 1. Jane Dawson, CFA, an analyst at a New York brokerage firm, suspects that Bob Boatman, CFA, another analyst at the same firm, has violated a state securities law. So, one of the CFA charter holder, Jane Dawson, has a doubt that another employee in his organization, only Bob, is not following securities law. Now, he is not sure, he has a doubt. It is given that he has a suspect, so he is not sure that the law is getting followed or law is getting violated. He is not sure about that. So in this case, the best course of action is to check with the legal counsel department of the company. If you have a doubt that one of the employee in the organization is not following a law as per standard 1A knowledge of law, if you have a doubt on someone that someone is not following a law, then you should approach a legal counsel department of the company to check actually the violation is happening or not happening, because you're not sure, you just have a doubt, you have a suspect. So in this case also, Jane has a suspect that Bob is violating a state securities law. So he should approach a legal counsel department of the company. According to the CFA Institute standards of the professional conduct, Jane Dawson is required to report the suspected violation to the appropriate state regulatory agency. Okay. So अभी let's discuss first कि क्या ideally उसको करना चाहिए. So if Jane has suspect on Bob, then first he should check with the legal counsel department of the company, because suspect है, clear नहीं है. So once after checking with the legal counsel department of the company, if he found that the law is getting violated and Bob is not following the law, then after that he should follow. Now it is very much sure that law is getting violated. Then Jane should approach that person, Bob. Might be Bob is not aware that he is not following a law. So first approach that person. But if Bob says it's none of your business, then next step would be approaching supervisor of that colleague. So Bob का जो भी supervisor रहेगा, you can approach the supervisor. उसके बाद still even if the law is getting violated, उसके बाद you approach the compliance department of the company. That would be the third step. आपने you have approached that colleague, उसके बाद you have approached the supervisor, उसके बाद you have approached the compliance department of the company, and still the illegal activity is going on, still the violation is still happening, then it is up to you to report it to the proper regulatory authority or not. So before that, reporting it to the proper regulatory authority, before that, if you found that illegal activity is on and on, in that case, you will have to dissociate from that activity. कैसे dissociate? Either you will have to change your team, or in extreme cases, you will have to resign from the organization, right? Because you are working with one of the colleague who is not following the law. You are taking all the efforts to stop that illegal activity, but still if the illegal activity is going on and you are working with that colleague, meaning you are also supporting that activity. So this is too ideal and extreme, I know, but this is how it is. In extreme cases, you have to resign from the organization. So basically you have to dissociate from that activity. So if you know that in your project some illegal activity is going on, one of the colleague is not following the law, you approach the colleague, you approach the supervisor, you approach the compliance department, still the illegal activity is going on, either you change a team, you change the project, or in extreme cases, change the organization. This is all these things are required things जहां तक डिस्कस किया है. एंड उसके बाद जो पॉइंट आता है, reporting it to the government that illegal activity is going on in this company. So this is not a required thing. This is encouraged by the CFA Institute. This is encouraged as per standard 1A knowledge of law, but this is not a required thing. डिसोसिएटिंग फ्रॉम दैट इलीगल एक्टिविटी, वहां तक सब कुछ रिक्वायर्ड है. उसके बाद जो लास्ट वाला स्टेप है, इट इज अप टू यू. इफ यू वांट, यू कैन रिपोर्ट इट टू द प्रॉपर रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी. Again, it is not required for you to report it to the CFA Institute. You will have to report it to the regulatory authority. You are encouraged to do that. Still, it is not a compulsion. Yeah, this should be the course of action. Now, let's look at the option. कि Jane Dawson is required to report the suspected violation to the appropriate state regulatory agency. Just now we discussed that it is not a required thing. In the option A, they have mentioned required. So because of required thing, A is ruled out because this is not a required activity, it is recommended activity. Option B is required to report the suspected violation to the safe institute. Again, it's not a required thing. It is recommended thing, and also like law is getting violated. So why someone will report it to the CF institute? अगर report करना ही है, तो will report it to the government because law is getting violated. If standard is getting violated, it is recommended that you report it to the CF Institute because standards are given by CF Institute, law is given by state, law is given by government authority. So report accordingly. So that's why even B is ruled out. So answer would be C, not required to report the violation to the appropriate governmental or regulatory organization. It is recommended, it is not a required thing. That's why the correct answer is C.